Welcome to the Weekly Blend Podcast. I'm Lassa.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Greg.
Let's go to a game that we all can agree will not make us bored, and that is God of War 3, which is came out a couple weeks ago. I finished it.
Let's just say this: it's the bee's knees.
That's what you're going to use to describe God of War 3.
Wow.
Yes, I am.
Quote back of the box quote. I'm just gonna come
You
out.
guys are speechless.
Honestly, that's how most of the game
Leaves
affected
you?
me. I mean, like.
Either that or like
okay, you play God of War 2, right? Remember God of War 2? At the beginning, you fight the big Colossus,
Yeah.
you know, and he's swinging at you. Imagine the whole game being portions of that, except for you're riding on him, doing different things, and that like that sequence you do at the end where you're like with a combo, you know, with the button press combo. You're doing that in real time through the whole thing at every moment. The game is incredibly epic. It took me probably 10 to 12 hours to finish because I was like running around trying to find stuff and just kind of doing my own thing. And I suck at the game apparently.
I finished it in, I think, 10.
You don't block enough.
Dude, you can't criticize. You weren't playing the game. So I'm just going to throw that out there. But like, it's...
So aside from the beautifulness of
it,
and
first
the
of all, it's one of the
epicness
most.
it,
I mean,
it is gorgeous, and everything was done with the game engine.
I mean, honestly, I cannot heap enough praise onto this. I don't know if there's anything bad about the game I didn't like. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, the graphics were incredibly gorgeous. The combat it changes up all the time, and they make you use these new weapons that they give you.
But you actually want to use them, and everybody's saying you want to use all the weapons, but you truly do. They're fun to use.
Yeah,
and
all of them.
Yes, and you always it's like you have your heart set on the blades.
Weapon?
It's like a whip thing.
Oh.
So, electrical.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's basically the feral weapon is what I'll call it, because even the thing I love is when you're using them, you even crouch down a little lower, and when you instead of rolling, you do like this hop thing like a cat. It's all feral.
Really?
Yeah, it's cool.
Can you think of anything that you would say that you didn't like about the game? Because the puzzles are like 100 times better than the first two.
Okay, it's not a criticism. Maybe it's a little harder.
Yeah, that's true.
It is a harder God of War game. I played it on casual
because I blocked all the time. That whole time you were watching, I was blocking.
Countering?
Yeah, because the problem is a lot of enemies have combos that can break through your block. Almost all of them.
They're just so. Well, I mean, some of them, most of them, their weapon is just you don't block unless you block at the moment they strike with the whatever thing is on your arm.
But I guess this would be my criticism. There is a little bit of a delay in sensitivity on the block thing where you have to hit it at like a half a second earlier than you had to in the first two God of Wars.
Really? I didn't notice that. What I noticed was the double jump.
You get used to it by the end, but
there was often I went to double jump to fly, and it was just jump once and fall down pit, die.
Yeah, I do.
Luckily, all of the checkpoints were right before pits.
Yeah.
So
well, they've always had a good.
And that's one thing I loved about it is the autosave system is awesome. Like, you know, they have save points along the game, but there's also an autosave. So every time you hit a checkpoint, you can actually turn your game off and load up your autosave. You don't have to do it at a save point.
That's cool.
Right.
Which is really cool.
Although I will admit that early in the game, the save points are a little too far apart.
Yes.
I think. Granted,
yeah, I would play like 40 minutes waiting for a save.
So what'd you guys think of like the whole narrative of the game? Like what, like the story, like just this is Kratos' swan song kind of thing.
I know that you had some issues with the very end and the dialogue between. I loved the premise of what, and I don't necessarily want to say it, but I love what the whole game and what Kratos is truly trying to find himself and his journey to salvation, basically.
Yeah, this is the first God of War game. Until I got to the end, I hated Kratos. Like, I was like, you are a selfish guy. And then you get to the end, and there's almost a redeeming point to it. And I'm with you. I actually liked that, what was going on kind of overall. And I will say that God of War 3 is way better storyline than God of War 1 and 2. My only problem was at the very end, I didn't like one of the dialogue. It seemed a little corny. How they explained it was like, come on, like, but it's a cool concept.
I love the primitiveness of what they were actually arguing over.
Yeah,
like the fact it was down to the very basics of like human emotion, and that's what I thought was really cool. Is it went back to the basics.
And God of War 3 uses perspective better than any other game. I mean, they put you in
the cinematic perspective.
Well, all of it. So like during certain sequences, there's first person's perspective from different things, and I won't spoil it for people that play through it, but it's amazing.
Yeah,
and then like. not only that, when you are on these huge beasts, the camera's spinning around, but you're still fully in control. Like, you can be so far away that your character...
All you can see are the blades spinning when you're attacking.
And you'll see red orbs jumping out and be like, oh, I'm in control of what's going on. There were times when it would come out of a cutscene and zoom in, and I'd be like, why is he not moving? Oh my gosh, I'm in control. Like, and that's a testament partially to the graphics, but also to how cinematically it flowed out of every single aspect of the game. I mean, I really cannot heap enough praise on this game. People that are giving it a 10 out of 10, yeah, I'm probably with you. And early on, you know, Mass Effect 2 was my game of the year. This is rivaling.
Well, there's a lot of good games the beginning of this year already. So.
Yeah. It was definitely a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
I mean, you, literally, if you don't... I mean, I like what Adam
So basically,
Sessler
you guys just saying you need to experience it.
This is why I like what Adam Sessler said the best. If you don't got this game, get it. If you don't got a PS3, get a PS3, get the game. That's what he says. And literally, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I watched a lot of reviews prior to see some of this stuff, and I was afraid that they were going to spoil some of the epic moments. The first moment that because you're riding on a Titan, and you're fighting a god at the same time, you think, well, how can they eclipse this? They do it, and they do it like 10 times in the game.
Wow.
And it flows so smoothly between everything that happens. I mean,
and something that may not mean much to you guys, but mean a lot to me was the voice acting.
Yeah,
there was only like 2. Okay, of all the voice actors, 2 of them, which are the least popular, were like from reality TV. Everyone else were famous actors. Rip Torn is in it. The guy with the white hair, I just slipped his name. Anyway, you can go through and look it up online.
I actually,
but you can see all the voice acting.
I like it because I've watched you play some of the game, and looking back at the first 2, I've always thought like even Kratos was kind of like his dialogue was cheesy, or I mean, it's just I'm a brute, blah blah, kind of thing. And just the one conversation that I saw him have in the cutscene, like it was cool that they've kind of made him a little deeper, and his voice acting is better. So
I am. There's nothing. I mean, the storyline, hands down, is so much better than the first 2.
I did think at the towards the very end, when you're going through but just before the credit kind of stuff, that was a little drawn out.
Yeah, but that's the reason I didn't like the dialogue. Oh, that sequence.
I'm talking about the sequence was a little drawn out, where you're kind of figuring out. It's just like
cool
this weird. It's definitely cool looking. Artistically amazing, and that's why they drew it out, probably to get you to experience.
When they spent all this money on we built it. Why make it only last a couple of minutes?
Yeah. So
cool.
That's it for this week. You can always follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/Corey Burris
/Greg Santee
/Lasse Lund.
And you can also check us out at twitter.com/theweeklyblend. You can check out all of our stuff on theweeklyblend.com. We'll be posting all the videos on there. We also have our weekly audio podcast, so if you're subscribed to this podcast, you already get it, but we talk about all the news of the week and on movie, TV, and video games. So anything else you guys want to add?
Nothing here.
Good as gold.
All right, until next time, we out. And